Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
This is Questions, Coffee, and Cars 186. We're up to Andrea. How do you get a question in for a future episode?
Follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted and we start the show.
Time now for Questions, Coffee, and Cars.
Your questions from Instagram.
I'm currently leasing a 2017 CLA with return coming in late this year. I'm looking to get a full-size SUV, but if I move out of Benz, I will lose my royalty rate. I guess loyalty rate. And if I stay, I'm stuck with just GLS or GLE. Is the BMW X5 or Audi Q7 worth the move?
The GLS is a nice product. That's
So
really
is
nice.
the GLE.
And the GLE is very nice too. But the whole thing is, that we've talked about this many times. It's the golden handcuffs, right?
Is it ever?
So these brands, do you know how much it costs to get somebody to change brands? Say you've been in the BMW world forever and Mercedes-Benz wants to lure you away. The amount of money that it takes for marketing and all that kind of stuff to land you, it's cheaper for these brands to keep you once you're in their wheelhouse with great incentives, loyalty discounts, interest rate discounts, all that kind of stuff, which are the golden handcuffs you have right now.
For sure. I mean, I like the BMW X5 a lot. It's not as big as the GLE, and obviously the GLS goes against the X7, but it's the same thing with BMW. I mean, they really handcuff you as well. Our friends own lease two BMWs, and we were talking to them last night, and they were saying, look, I looked at another luxury brand, but BMW keeps giving me that amazing interest rate, and they look after them. So guess what? When the lease is up, they're back to BMW.
I like both. I like the GLS and the GLE. I like the inline six-cylinder of the GLE and the inline six-cylinder of the X5. It really comes down to, I'll use my own line again, Andrea. Do you like blondes? Do you like brunettes?
You have to decide for yourself, and you will get that same loyalty program with BMW, but you just have to start over. As for the Audi Q7, it's old. I wouldn't worry about moving into that one at this time. Do you know how loyalty rate discounts work? I leased a Corolla and then financed it at the end of the lease. I'm planning to trade it in for a Grand Highlander from the same dealership. But the dealership is refusing to give me loyalty discounts, saying it is applicable from a lease to another lease only. But it doesn't make sense because I've been loyal to their brand and even to the same dealership. Not sure what loyalty means to them.
Well, so the whole thing about the financing is not really dealer specific. It's brand specific. So the dealer could give you a discount on the price of the car, but all the other stuff comes from head office.
Well, the loyalty discount, it's funny because those friends that we saw last night that have BMWs, they actually have purchased 3 RAV4s for their son. And when this question came in, I thought, well, they're the perfect people to ask. And I said, are you part of the loyalty program? I assume so. And he said, for sure I am. I mean, we've purchased 3 RAV4s. Now they lease vehicles. So he says he always gets a deal on the lease. And if you go online and you look at Toyota's loyalty program, it does say either a reduction in the lease or possibly the price of the vehicle, but they have all of these restrictions, but they don't say what they are, and they say you have to go to the dealership.
I bet you it would only be like $500. It wouldn't be a ton of money anyway. The best loyalty you want is the finance costs. Yeah. Toyota's notorious for having rolling interest rates. You're going to roll off the lot with a 7-8% interest rate. That's high. So you can get it down to 3 or 4%. That's where you save your money. So don't beat up on your dealer because they're not giving you what you think you deserve. They don't really do that. They can give you a discount on the car because you've come back, maybe like $500 or more, depending on which one it is, an expensive car. But the real incentive and what Andrew's talking about is manufacturer based.
And also, it is possible because it is a Grand Highlander, which is
a
very popular choice.
They don't need it.
They don't need to really give you a deal. And I wonder if it comes down to being vehicle specific. Our friends, they get the loyalty program, but they lease. Great show, guys. I already hit the S for subscribe since last year. Awesome. I wanted to know your insights on the advantages and disadvantages of having a trade-in with the dealership versus just selling the vehicle privately. Also, on a side note, any news on a GV70 hybrid in Canada? Thank you in advance, and more power to the show. So before we get into the first question, the second question about the GV70 hybrid, we've asked, they say, yeah, maybe.
It's coming.
But
It's coming.
They won't say, but I think because Palisade from Hyundai has the hybrid, the 2.5 liter turbo 4 with up to 329 horsepower, I would think that Genesis is going to use that powertrain as well.
I seem to remember that there was some kind of announcement from Hyundai Group saying that Genesis would be getting hybrids. So it's only a matter of time. Okay, trading in versus selling it yourself. Okay, so we'll just pick round numbers here. Your car's worth $20,000 as a trade-in, and your next car's $40,000. Okay, when you trade it in, you only pay tax on the difference. Okay, so your trade-in goes towards offsetting any tax burden of the new car. So if we pick it at 10%, right? That's a substantial amount of money. Versus could you beat that tax difference if you sold it yourself? And then when you get your new car, you've got to pay out the whole tax.
I think it depends on the car. It depends on the market. If it's a Toyota or a Lexus, maybe selling it yourself privately, you'll get more money for it. I mean, the dealership is always going to cut you on that price because they have to sell it afterwards. And possibly maybe there's a few things that they have to tweak with it. But you know, I also think that I'm going to use me as just a woman. There's also a bit of a safety factor. Like, I wouldn't want to sell my own car without Zach or without my dad or an uncle or a friend. I would just feel better not to go on my own. And I wouldn't want to do it in front of my house, so I'd have to pick another location. It can be done, but I just think it's there's a little bit more involved, but you will get more money for it if you sell it yourself.
But you can also play it like if you've got a nice used car, say it's a desirable vehicle and the dealer would want it because they can flip it and sell it for more money. You can hit them on, try and get the best trade-in you can. You're going to reduce your tax implication and then say, okay, I'll give you my trade, which they're going to make money on if you reduce the cost of the new car as well, right? So you can, if you're dealing with them, it's a barter thing, right? So you're saying to them, okay, I'm going to give you my good used car, give me a better deal on the new car, and give me a fairly good price for the trade-in, and then you save the tax, and it might not be worth all the headache Andrea just mentioned. There is another way to do it, which is called an in and out. So you find somebody that wants to buy your car, and then you say to the dealership, will you do an in and out, which means all the paperwork is going to go through the dealership as a trade. So Andrea has gone on Facebook Marketplace and found my car that I'm selling, and I say, oh, we're going to do the deal, but we're going to do it at a dealership. She comes to the dealer. I take the used car to the dealer. It goes in as a trade-in, and then they sell it to Andrea for the predetermined price. That's paperwork, and that can be done. It's all a lot of work, which is why dealers often make good money on used cars because most people don't want to do that.
We've done that once, that in and out with an older Porsche Cayenne that we had. It worked out well, but
we also know a lot of people in this business, right? Like we do. We know people, and it got done, and there you go.
And I really get the benefits of going through a dealership. It's just sometimes just easier. Regarding seat coverings in cars, can you go over the current materials used and their advantages or disadvantages? It's confusing. Leather, is it even used anymore? Aniline, semi-aniline, Nappa, durability would be number one choice in any case. And when do we find out what changes, if any, are going to be divulged for the 2025 Lexus RX 350 or RX 350 hybrid? By the
Oh,
way,
excuse me. I was yawning there.
he needs coffee.
I need a drink of coffee.
He's
I'm feeling under the weather today. I don't know.
I think we are thinking that maybe it's his allergies, but anyway, he is sneezing and
Yeah.
things are going on.
Don't look at me
here.
like I'll do a Kramer. Don't look at me, Jerry. I'm hideous.
Hopefully it doesn't progress. Anyway, interestingly enough that you're asking this about the Lexus, because I did ask Toyota what's going to be coming up for the RX for 2026, and they won't say. They said to us, you have to just wait and see. I would think they're going to maybe release any sort of specs in the fall.
It's only been 2 years, I think, since
know.
they're not in a rush. It sells like crazy. They're not in a rush to give it a facelift.
No.
So I'll just touch on leather. First of all, I love cloth seats. But leather, there's many different grades. What was that BMW leather that we thought was barely...
Vernasca.
Yeah, crap.
Now they have another one, Sensitech, or I don't know, but it's leatherette basically.
Okay, so you have different grades of leather. So there's one that we all know is called Napa leather, right? Which is a higher grade of leather. And then you have semi-aniline, which is higher. And then the top one is Connolly, Connolly leather. That's what you would use in a Bentley, something like that. Yeah, leather is not created equal. Remember years ago, we were thinking when we had the boys of getting a CRV, and I had one as a test car, and you were like, they call that leather? Because it would look like plastic.
And that's the thing about leather. Manufacturers are using it. Typically on the top trim, you get leather, but sometimes the leather can be really hard. Sometimes it's leather trimmed. Sometimes they add Alcantara to it, a faux suede. But I actually find the leather quality isn't as good as what it used to be. I mean, do you remember the days when you would buy an Acura with leather and it was like that baseball leather? I mean, it was just really nice. Anyway, they are using leather, and Napa leather, luxury brands are still using it. It's usually an extra cost to get the Napa leather. I really like Napa because it's so soft. It feels more luxurious.
Okay, so cloth seats I like. Cloth seats, the benefits of cloth are they're cool in the summer and they're warm in the winter. And then when you throw in, there is nothing better on a cold day than a cloth seat that's got a heater. That just heats up so quickly and it feels so great. So we have that in our Honda Civic and it's fantastic. And then the faux leather, I really truly believe is the best of everything because some of the faux leathers now are so soft. We had, what was it last week? We had the Sportage last week.
Yeah.
And I said, I can't believe it's not butter. I can't believe it's not real leather. It's soft, it's pliable. And the great thing about faux leather is 10 years from now, it'll look the same.
Yeah, and the leatherette quality has really improved. You see that from Lexus and Toyota, the Hyundai group. So pure aniline leather, which I never see in vehicles, it's always semi-aniline. So pure aniline leather is unique because it retains the natural look and feel of the hide. It has little to no protective coating and is more prone to stains like from body oil. Semi-aniline leather has been given a light surface pigmentation, which helps protect the leather from fading and other types of damage.
Yeah, so when you,
which makes sense, right? That they would use semi-aniline.
Most leather seats are highly, highly treated, and they do that so that they don't fade. And they don't crack. Like real leather seats that have got nothing on them, if you leave them out in the sun, you just look at an old Jag from the 1970s, the seats are all cracked and ripped apart. That's what happens if you don't put the UV protection on it and all that kind of stuff. So just buy what you like when it's new and look after it.
And sometimes, you know, we get a vehicle and you look at the leather seats and it has like a little indent in them. And I don't know, like some leather is just softer than other leather. So
well, that's all the stuff they put on
it.
Yeah.
I know. It's very different. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit.
Andrea, the summer sale is still on. What are we giving away for free?
Oh, we're giving away subscriptions for free. Guess what? You can hit subscribe for free and you get all of this content.
And it really does help us. Like, you're probably wondering, like, why do YouTubers so obsessed with subscriptions?
I know.
It's a weird little thing that YouTube likes, that people like, so it just helps us.
Just part of the analytics.
Just do it. Please.
Thank you. Is there any patents on vehicle designs? I noticed some models look extremely similar to another brand. You see this trend often with brands like Hyundai as it relates to Range Rover. Are there any laws about that?
That's a good point. I don't think you could do a patent around design. You might be able to do for like the design of a headlamp or something like that. I just think that it's the greatest form of flattery. I've said this many times, Andrea. You know what I always say. Everything ends up looking like a Land Rover or a Range Rover. Like, look at the Telluride. I mean, from the back, it looks like a Range Rover. Everything ends up the script they put on the back or on the front. That all came from Land Rover.
And look at the new Santa Fe.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that one. They can put a patent. Sure, you can get a patent on a specific item, but I mean, you would have to do like a patent on the script in the back, let's say, for Range Rover. But I don't think you can. But I think for specific things. But you even see the interiors of these models now. They're sharing screens.
Well, that's all because there's common part suppliers. Like, they don't develop their own screen. They get a part supplier that says to them, hey, why do you think when Andrea goes through the key standard features in our videos, everything is a 12.3-inch digital driver display, a 12.3-inch infotainment screen? Because the manufacturers of the screens, they developed a 12.3-inch, and everybody copies that from one to the next. A big part of exterior design, though, is what you probably don't think about are two things. Crash worthiness. So there are all kinds of regulations around a vehicle to sustain an impact for crash worthiness. But the other one, which people just don't think about, is pedestrian crash worthiness. So the front of the vehicle, if you hit a pedestrian, the hood is supposed to collapse. That's why all cars at the front have the spoiler at the bottom, the air diffuser is at a certain angle. They're almost always at this certain angle. And that was developed to push people away from the car. So if you hit a pedestrian, they don't go under the car, they get pushed off to the side. And the distance between the engine and the top of the hood is enough that it can absorb some impact. So if you hit somebody, they don't get killed, the energy is absorbed by the car.
And another thing, when a manufacturer is producing a new vehicle, I mean, this is like a 8-year process that they've got to figure out what are people going to want in 8 years. Think of how difficult that is when you see a new model come to market and you go, wow, that looks great. Wow, I really like the screens. I mean, we see with BMW today, they've got some pretty unique design elements to the exterior and interior, which I'm not a fan of, but once they make their decisions, they kind of have to see it through. And I've asked these manufacturers, I've asked designers, how much can you change when you get to kind of that 3-year mark? They say not a lot.
I remember going for a ride and drive event for this car, actually, Porsche Cayenne, and we had one of the head designers from Germany, and I was talking about the facelift. So we were driving the car, and then he said, oh, well, in 4 years, it'll get a facelift. And I asked him, okay, so this is 4 years out, the facelift is going to be happening. When will you be finished that facelift? He says it's already done. That's 4 years later. He says it's finished. We've done it. So we've done the current car and we've done the facelift.
So you can totally understand why they share things. I mean, it just makes sense. Hello, just traded in my CX-50 for a Civic Sport Touring Hybrid. Wow, we like that. And it's great. However, there are rattles in the dash. Do you think the dealership can take care of them? Because I hear they won't.
Oh, that's annoying as hell. Nothing worse than a rattle, especially when you spent big dough on a new car. That's annoying.
And then you take it to the dealership, and then they take it for a test drive, and they don't hear the rattle.
They go, we don't hear it.
We don't hear a rattle.
Turn the radio up.
That is tough because I think it's hard to pinpoint rattles. What I suggest you do is maybe when you're hearing the rattle, take a video of it, and then you've got the sound in play. We did that. We had an issue with locking this vehicle and the power tailgate when you use the locking. So when we went to the dealership and they looked for the problem, it was working for them. So then Zach did a video, and that was helpful.
To be honest with you, I don't know the answer to your question. I would, first of all, try a different dealership. You don't have to go back to the dealer you bought your Honda from. Go to a different dealership and ask them. Because, you know, the warranty is for the car. It's not from the dealership. It's from the brand. So do that. And also open a file with Honda. Call their customer service number and say to them, I've got a rattle. It's unacceptable. I want to see it fixed. And say, you know, like, you want to be polite, but you want to be firm. And the squeaky wheel does get the grease. The squeaky dash does get the bolt tightened, you would hope. But they can take it apart and put it back together and hopefully figure out what's wrong with it.
But definitely keep pushing forward with it. No one likes rattles. I remember, I don't know, we were in one vehicle and we're driving along, and Zach's like, he hears every little thing.
Well, I noticed vibration. I'll say to Andrea, do you feel that driveline vibration? And she goes, no. I go, it's there. And then after a while, Andrea goes, I can feel it.
Yeah, after he mentioned it. But at first, I didn't really feel it. And he's like, where's that rattle coming from? Where's that? Anyway, it turned out to be just like seatbelt was rattling.
No, it was the tow hook was in the back cargo area rattling against the spare tire.
Yeah, that was
So I pulled over and I moved it around.
Drove us nuts.
I'm going to give you a pro tip. Fist, bang on the dash.
Yeah.
Just bang on it in different places. You're not going to hurt it. You just bang. If you hear it coming from over here, bang there. Bang on all these panels. The panels are all just loosely fit with clips for the most part. The dash itself is bolted in, but all the ancillary sort of things are all just loosely fitted, and they should have little, you know, something in between the panels so they don't squeak or rattle. So just try that first. Give it a good whack, and it might just go away. You never know.
Who knows? Anyway, good questions, everyone. That's it for us. If you want to get a question in, follow along on Instagram at motormouth_Andrea. Every Sunday morning, I put a post out asking for questions. Once we gather them, the post is deleted. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.